What is share? The way to look at a share, often referred to as a stock, is to consider it as a part of a real business. That also means that if a business is valued at 1 lakh Indian rupees and has 10,000 shares, the value of each share is 10 Indian rupees. In the stock market field, you often hear about shares outstanding. Shares outstanding are simply the number of shares a business is divided into. While it's the right way to perceive a single stock as a real business, stock investors use different terms depending on whether they are talking about a business or a single share. For instance, the net income is the money that the whole company makes. But for a single stock, it is generally known as the earnings or earnings per share, EPS. In addition, the difference between assets and liabilities for a company is called equity. But when referring to a single share, it is known as the book value. These various terminologies are used to avoid confusion. But it's important to know that when you're referring to a per share basis, everything can be seen in proportion. A basic valuation technique for a single share is the price to earnings ratio, PE. It is very simple and compares the market price with EPS. For instance, if the market price of a stock is 10 Indian rupees and earnings, or EPS, are 2 Indian rupees, the PE is into 10/2 equals 5. In the case where PE is 5, it means that for every 5 Indian rupees spent buying a stock, I should receive 1 Indian rupee in profit 1 year later as an owner. While simple, this technique is a very widely used term that any serious value investor knows about. Stock market is lucrative because most people get very confused when speaking about large numbers. When we talk about numbers in millions and billions and divide that into shares, most people base their decisions on emotions. It's much more common dealing with small amounts if the decisions are based on actual numbers and rationality. Since so many people base their investment approach on emotions, those who can see through that and do the calculations and business assessment have the advantage of buying stocks when they are cheap and sell them when the market price far exceeds the value. What is value business versus a single share? When we deal with very large numbers when evaluating a large company, it can be hard to estimate if we are buying it at a good price. The trick here is to think about the business on a per share basis, as there is no difference between valuing a single share or the entire company. What is a PE ratio? Simply put, this is the same as asking the question, how much would you pay for a share that is making 1 Indian rupee? You find the PE of a stock by dividing the stock price and the earnings. So if the stock costs 20 Indian rupees and is making 1 Indian rupee, the PE is simply 21 equals 20. You want to buy stocks with PE that is as low as possible. What is EPS? This is probably the most important number to understand. This is the earnings per 1 share or the profit for 1 share. To calculate this number, divide the company's total net income by the common shares outstanding. What is common shares outstanding? This is the total number of shares a company has been divided into. What is book value? This is a very important number because it represents the equity for 1 share. To calculate this number, divide the total shareholder equity by the shares outstanding. What is market price? Also known as the trading price, this is the number you see on the stock exchange that represents the current price a share is trading for. Warren Buffett investors like to consider this price usually wrong. The importance of this site is to learn how to calculate the correct value, aka the intrinsic value. What is PE ratio? This ratio is a comparison between the price you pay to buy a stock and the profit you may receive from 1 share in 1 year. Thanks for watching.